Morning and welcome to Paul and Saul. You'll notice it's just me on Paul and Saul today, and that's okay. We've got plenty of stuff to cover. Of course, we need to first thank our sponsor. That's, of course, Northwest Florida State College. Special thanks to them for all they do to ensure that you get the news. If you are looking for a career change, start with Northwest Florida State College. They offer certifications, associate's, and bachelor's degrees for way less than a traditional four-year institution. Four-year degree at NWFSC is $109 a credit hour. That's about $13,000, and they have scholarships available. That's way cheaper than UWF, Florida, or Florida State, where you're looking at more than $200 a credit hour. Graduate with an accredited degree from a respected local institution for about half the cost of Northwest Florida State College. All right, let's get to the music and get Yeah, guys, I know it's not as fun without Paul dancing the bottom, but can't do it all, guys. So we're going to go through our big stories one by one, starting with what happened last night at the Valparaiso City Commission meeting. A lot of stuff going down there in Valparaiso. They, for one, got to use their brand new City Hall for the first time. It didn't go off without a hitch at all. How should I say that again? It went off with a couple of hitches. A couple things like the ADA ramp was not completely flush with the floor. TV's also kind of in the way of the ADA ramp. The elevator cab is not installed, so there's kind of a big open hole with two pieces of caution tape around it. I'll give you a quick look at that. You can see it there on the left of our graphic right here. Excuse me. So it was okay. There were three big stories I want to talk to you about that took place last night. First things first, election season in Valparaiso for municipal elections is officially here. You're going to be able to vote in March. But before all that goes down, you may not even get to vote for one of the commission seats, and here's why. City Commissioner Chris Wasden announced that she will resign on March the 17th after the next meeting to run for mayor of the city. She is one of 4 candidates for the mayoral's race, but they don't have that many candidates for the other 3 seats. So there are 2 people running for re-election unopposed, Tom Browning and Brian Griffin. That third seat that candidate Wasden is resigning from does not have anybody filled out to run for that position, which means that the city commission is going to have to appoint somebody for a full 4-year term. That's kind of how it works, though. Anyway, next thing you'll want to know is that they are looking at bringing back and have decided to bring back the Niceville Fire Department as the administrative staff for the Valparaiso Fire Department. It's similar to the arrangement they had for over 5 years when Chief Tommy Mayville was the chief at the Niceville Fire Department. Only exception is that this is not going to be an arrangement between the city of Valparaiso and the person of the fire chief. It's going to be with the entire fire department. They're going to give fire marshal services, administrative and training services to the city of Valparaiso at a cost of about $10,000 per month, which Fire Commissioner Tom Browning mentioned is about what they would pay with everything included from benefits and insurance and actual pay and retirement for a fire chief. So they're coming out sort of even, but they don't have a choice in the fire chief. They're going to do this for at least 6 months is kind of what they came to a conclusion on at the meeting yesterday before they decide whether or not to go get their own fire chief or dissolve the fire department. There's really any number of options that are still available to the city of Valparaiso with this deal. Technically, it's month to month, but both parties, both Chief Alex Kakulis of Niceville Fire Department and the Valparaiso City Commission said, we're willing to try this for 6 months. So expect a little bit of change to be seen there in Valparaiso. Last thing, and kind of a spicy one, Carl Scott, who has been the city administrator. It's kind of one hat for a bunch of different hats that go from building official to code enforcement magistrate, kind of. He's been with the city for about 20 years, and he had a blow up with a not a resident, someone that owns a home, an alleged blow up, where he was accused of cussing somebody out and yelling in the city hall. It sounds like a bunch of people were there to corroborate that story. Well, the woman who was allegedly cussed out in city hall came to the city commission meeting in the new building, in the old Synovus Bank building that's now the new city hall, and basically called for his job. Mayor Brent Smith said, yeah, if it was up to him by himself, he'd fire him. And so that's one vote of the 3 that would be needed to fire Mr. Scott. Whether or not that's going to happen may be decided on Thursday, when they're going to have a follow-up hearing on a lien that is on this house that is kind of at the center of this imbroglio. So we may have an answer on Thursday. We may not. They weren't super forthcoming in the commission meeting about that, because it sounds like there's some legal stuff that goes around. The city attorney, Hayward Dykes, got in the discussion while there was some back and forth and said, look, this is not something that we're going to discuss. We don't discuss personnel matters as a piece of policy. And so we won't have full answers for the next little bit. So we will stay tuned on that. That meeting, of course, is on Thursday. So 2 days time at 3 p.m. We should have more information after that. Now, good news for boaters that like to use the East Pass. There's going to be some navigational aids that will be added to that area to restore some older ones that have kind of fallen into disrepair. This comes after city councilman, Congressman Jimmy Petronis wrote a letter to the Coast Guard asking that they update these East Pass navigational aids. It had been something that a lot of people apparently had complained to him. It sounds like they made this commitment late last week, and they're going to make these updates to what are called, technically, aids to navigation, or because it's the federal government, there's an acronym, ATONs. So get ready for these ATONs to make their appearance over the next couple of months. Petronis thanked the Coast Guard commandant and said, quote, these ATONs are essential to the safety of our mariners, first responders, and the residents and visitors who rely on our waterways every day. I am grateful to the commandant for recognizing the importance of this issue and the men and women of the Coast Guard who protect our borders. Moving on, flock safety cameras. Boy, howdy. There are so many people talking about flock safety cameras that the sheriff's office sent members of the media, myself included, I think 8 or 9 question FAQ to kind of deal with all the questions they've been getting, just to head them off at the pass. But basically they had lost you for a minute. Had a commission meeting last week to discuss flock cameras, these flock cameras going up around the county. If you go, there's a DFlock website that we'll put in the comments after the show is over, basically talking about how many there are and how they're a threat to, I guess, civil rights is kind of the argument that people have taken. The county commission said, hey, there's a lot of these out there. The deputy county administrator got involved in this, and he said, hey, these LPRs, there's always acronyms, right? License plate readers are going around. The county doesn't actually operate them, and they don't issue citations. They literally just read license plates and then send that information to the local agency. One of the FAQs that we got from the sheriff's office was, hey, does this go everywhere and every police agency and the FBI and the CIA and everybody can use it? No, is what they said. They said it has to be requested, and then they approve that request. Dflock.me is the name of the website. It's DFLOCK.me. You can see a map of how many different, and why don't I just share the screen with you so you guys can see this thing. Don't judge me for all my tabs. All right, guys. So DFlock me, where did I put it? Just it? Yeah, here it is. DFlock me. There's, some 20 odd in Crestview and another 20 in Niceville, 30, probably maybe even 40 in the Fort Walton Beach area, a couple more in Destin. These things are used to track suspects, as it were. Let's say somebody makes an armed robbery and flees in a red Saturn Ion from 2007 with the license plate, last 3 digits, K5Q. Well, the law enforcement agency would plug that in and see if they can find any hits on those license plates. From there, they might track it and see where it's going. Maybe it's going to Miramar Beach, something like that. And from there, they hope to be able to use this to track people. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about this. As always, it's lonely out here without Paul. And so if you have some comments, I'd love to talk back and forth about this one because this has been a big one on social media. Looking back at this story just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. The Deputy County Administrator Jason Autry said that this network is, quote, a manpower multiplier. Commissioners did, though, raise some concerns about surveillance and transparency. Board Chairman Trey Goodwin said, quote, you kind of have this distinction between a security camera and a spy cam, he said. These feel a little bit more like a spy cam. Commissioner Sherry Cox voiced concerns about both residents and deputies. Quote, it bothers me a good bit that our law enforcement officers can be tracked by some unknown entity out there that is just a private contractor with no really full accountability. And then let's see, did I miss anybody else? Commissioner Paul Goodwin noted, and he's a former law enforcement officer, so I think this has a little bit of extra weight. Quote, I think sometimes we forget how advanced technology is. Added, I'm not the biggest fan, but it doesn't mean I oppose it. I drive with as a privilege on public roads that I pay public taxes to be a part of. So that's the argument that I've heard from a lot of people in government that I've talked to about these flock cameras. You're on a public road. It's a public roadway. The public government has a right to secure it. And so they're using that. Still, a lot of people online very uncomfortable with this. What do you think? Comment section is always there, both while we're live and afterwards. Finally, we have some road closures that I need to pull up and talk to you about. Eglin has announced some road closures from, let's see, I think it's this Friday. So 14, 15, 16th is when these road closures will take place. And it's going to be highways 85 and 285, as well as state roads 123 and 293. Yeah, January 16th between 9 a.m. and noon. They're having a big test on Eglin Air Force Base. And so it will be possibly a 90-minute delay where they're closing all these roads. So if you got somewhere to be on Friday morning, make sure that this doesn't affect your commute, because when they close the roads, the Air Force ain't playing. So make sure that you have your commute settled for Friday morning between 9 and noon. That's when that test is going to take place. And then last but not least, I did promise you guys a special treat. And that is because I was able to speak to Emerald Coast Elite Award winner, Coach of the Year, Frank Beasley, about the offseason, getting ready for 2026, and all the teams that he has scheduled so far. I think he has 9 teams total so far scheduled. He needs one more. He's looking for somebody on week 11. So if you have a strong football team and want to play a really good football team the last week of the year and possibly beat them the way that Enterprise did last year, or lose to them if you're willing to risk it, Frank Beasley's your guy. Here's what he told me.
Football is always a player-driven game. You got to have great players that do the right things, that work extremely hard, do the things that we ask them to do during the off-season. And our players do that. They understand it's going to be a long haul, and really, really dig into the training that we put them through during the off-season and all of those great things that we get to do with them and spend time with them and develop them. And the second biggest thing is our staff. In developing those kids, that's the number one thing we do in our football program, and that's the number one priority, is to make sure that we develop kids in all areas of their life with regards to academics, with regards to health and nutrition and all those things. And we feel like they develop into good football players, and that all comes to fruition at the end. And we really look to peak towards the end of the season, and our guys did that. They played really well, showed a lot of backbone in several big games down the road. So bounced back from a tough loss to Enterprise, and really showed a lot of character towards the end, and I'm really proud of our guys.
In 2026, the FHSA is changing up the conferences every time, the districts.
Sure, yeah.
And you're getting more teams in a district. How does that play for you guys here at Choctaw?
Well, it's a little easier for us to schedule. We have 5 built-in games already, so we've already went out and found 4 more. We're really still searching for one more. Week 11, that last week, we're having a hard time filling it, but we've got a pretty tough schedule ahead of us. We're excited about our new district schedule with Escambia, Pensacola, Washington, Fort Walton's in there again, Milton joined us, Gulf Breeze is in there, so we're excited about that opportunity to play some more local teams, but we're also looking for some tough teams to go outside of this area and compete against.
Teams from Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, we're playing Auburn High School from Alabama, which was a 7A semifinalist in Alabama last year. And, obviously, we're going to play Niceville, and we got Mosley back on the schedule the next 2 years. So we're excited about that. We're still looking for a Week 11 game. We're looking to go outside the state again and play a really tough opponent.
All comers?
Anybody. We'll take them all.
That, of course, was head coach of the Choctaw Fighting Indians, Frank Beasley, on the mic, telling us a little bit about off-season preparations. He got almost all of his games ready to go, playing some powerhouses this year at home and away. It's going to be an exciting football season. I know everybody's cold, waiting for high school football to start again in, 8 months? It's a while, but that's okay. Anyway, that's what we've got for this week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just miss Paul, put it